You're welcome to record it. Okay.
We could always scrap it, but I really like, because I have a
Okay.
feeling that Alan's going to come out with something that I'd like to have recorded. True.
Hey, I am loving this book. This is by Linda Quiring.
Oh, you're reading Encounters with an Enlightened
Yeah.
Man.
This, she's talking about that time, right, when we met Sid and stuff. And I mean, it's just like a mind-blowing blast from the past. And I know that it's not necessarily cool to be one of the what do they call them, the originals or the founders or the it's not quite the apostles, but sometimes it feels like that, because it's different now. This whole understanding and movement has changed so much. Like I said, from the psychological in the beginning, Sid was not psychological for sure, but his understanding was crafted into a psychological approach. And then over the years, that's changed a lot. So anyway, I don't know why I'm even saying this.
So the book is about Sid. He's the enlightened man.
Yeah, he's Linda Quiring was his first student, and she had electroshock therapy, was depressed, had a number of things go on with her, and Sid and Linda one day decided to write Island of Knowledge, which is the first book written by Sid. Highly recommend. It's very new age. I mean, this book was written in about 82 maybe, or something like that. But anyway, so yeah, so it's that Island of Knowledge are Sid and Linda just sat down, and Sid would talk and Linda would take notes, and then she would transcribe her notes on her electric IBM, right? So this was a classic scene.
Yeah.
Highly recommend Island of Knowledge. Great pictures of Sid. So anyway, yeah. So this book she's written a couple of books. This was written in 2017, and I just bought it for the first time. So anyway, very fun read. So anyway, so I used to do. I was a reporter for a business newspaper here locally, and I used to do a lot of interviewing. And that old saying about the reporter's not your friend, right? Well, people treated me like I was out to get them, right? So my anxiety level would go up and down and around, and I understand that state of mind where all of a sudden your personal mind and your insecurities disconnect from your wisdom or your soul, your common sense, right? And I've been reading I've been thinking about this too, that it seems to me that life is a balance. I hear some people say that personal thinking is often a problem, but no, personal thinking can be a joy. It can be a joy. Just depends on how I use it. So I've been trying to be more conscious of the balance between Alan Flood, the insecure, anxiety-prone, worrying grant writer guy, and the Alan Flood who's just a good person who is in the present and isn't caught up in his past or worried about his future, and that's a roller coaster, roller coaster.
How I think of that, Alan? What do you think of this? I think of that, like experiencing joy, that if it's personal, like feeling joy because this really good thing just happened. But sometimes I feel joy for no reason whatsoever. And to me, that's spiritual, when there's no personal reason attached to a feeling. a good feeling. Negative feelings always have personal thinking attached to it, the way I see it.
Yeah, I think that sounds right to me. It's easier for me to play with my dog and feel joy and then have that feeling than it is for me to try to find joy without anything, like if I
But
look
doesn't
at,
it hit you sometimes? Doesn't like you're just sitting there and boom, you're feeling
well,
joy.
yeah, well, I guess so. But I mean, I wake up in the morning and I look outside like today, it's just gorgeous outside, all kind of animals outside. I feel joy getting out of bed, walking down the hall. I had the thought though, look outside, look at nature, look how beautiful it is. It happened like that. But
Yeah.
it wasn't like free floating joy to me. And I guess that's so I always attribute the joy I have to some kind of consciousness, some kind of
Some kind of
consciousness.
consciousness.
My
Right.
consciousness opens up, I feel joy.
Yeah.
So it isn't like free floating, there's always a cause in my mind. At least that's my experience of joy. Big difference between joy and enjoyment too. I'm looking at that. It's this. I think this culture seeks enjoyment, and that's okay. And joy is so much easier and deeper than that. And it's so easy to get caught up in seeking enjoyment, pleasure, right? It's so easy to get there because it feels good, right? It feels good. But I think joy is a deeper, more fulfilling, satisfying feeling than enjoyment. What do you think, Drew? I'm just rambling on. When I come on this show sometimes, this thing kicks into gear, and I apologize. So tell me,
No.
tell me what you think, Drew.
Well, I like what you said about there's Alan Flood, the person who is living in the moment, and there's Alan Flood, the worrying person. And I just wonder, how do you separate those two? Like, do you have any advice for maybe ignoring this side and focusing on this side?
Great question, Drew.
This is Eckhart Tolle said this. So how do you drop a hot coal? And I said this on this show as well. How do you drop a hot coal? You let it go and it drops. And the same thing is true about the different personalities is you just do it. And then as you do it more frequently, you have more faith in your ability to drop the hot coal. So it becomes easier with time. So I mean, there are lots of ways people drop the hot coal. I mean, you can breathe, you can tap, right? You can do affirmations, you can do homeopathy. I mean, there's so many ways to drop the hot coal, but in my mind, the fundamental way to drop it is just to drop it, and to have faith in your ability to drop it.
Yeah.
I lose faith in my ability to drop it all the time, all the time. But it's okay. It's all right.
Well, I wish I could lose faith in that, because that would mean I have it initially, right? I don't even have faith in myself to let go of some of those feelings. So I don't know, the way I learn is by applying lessons to real life examples. So today I would say my anxiety was coming from trying to make this other person feel comfortable in their role. So I guess I was questioning my ability to do that. So for me, dropping the hot coal would be, hey, I know what I'm doing. I'm good at this. I'm trained at this. But more importantly, I think focusing on the other person and trying to stop thinking about myself and my own feelings. And that's where I think the humility comes in. And Lori and I were talking about ego. that's where I think, like, if I could just let go of my own ego and just focus on this other person and live in the moment, like we're doing right now, like listening to each other, I think that's really valuable. And I might not even notice myself dropping the coal. It might just happen because I'm not thinking about holding my ball in a fist. Right?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. You know what else? You already did that when you did that interview or that audition with that football player, True, because you noticed that you were thinking personally, like you noticed that you were thinking, how can I make him feel more comfortable? So the fact that you noticed that, to me, is already letting go. Does that make sense? I don't even know how to explain what I'm thinking.
No, totally. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. That's 100% right, Drew. The fact is that if you notice it at all, it means you're considering dropping the hot coal.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you may hang on to it for just a little bit longer because it's so comfortable and it's such a deep habit, and
Yeah.
you've done it for years. And then at some point, for me, sometimes some of the hot coals, I've been bored hanging on to them. I've been bored hanging on to them. I am so bored hanging on to this hot coal. So I'm going to do something else.
Right.
But,
want to throw it instead of drop it, so I can't
yes.
pick it up again. You know,
Yes.
throw it into the ocean by Bend. You know.
Yeah, throw that coal away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
How cool. You know, there was another personal question that Drew had. I'm going to stop the recording for a minute. Do you have another minute? Because I'd love for you, Alan, to hear what you have to say about this. If I can find a way to stop the recording. There we go.